the cuff, real crime stories, backyard beverage, bitching with Bill, coffee, cuffs, and crime with Cannon. Whatever kind of name you want to have, we're just getting over the hopefully a long and peaceful and relaxing and spiritual Memorial Day weekend where we honored our troops and our folks working in the armed forces, people that have served our country, helped this country to become the greatest country on this earth. Mary, good afternoon. Hello. So I always want to mention that, especially about Memorial Day weekend, because it is so important that we remember what it's about and who we are honoring and all the folks. Good morning, BB2. Supreme Commander Deborah Lyons, good afternoon. Paisley Dreams, good morning. I love all these different names. They're so amazing. So, yeah, I'm here for one more day. As you guys can tell, I'm in Florida. If you can't notice the palm trees, I would have shown you the palm trees up the hill. Shalane Thomason, good to see you. But the ground's a little unlevel here, so I didn't want to put it facing way up the hill. Maybe one day I'll go up the hill and do a show up there. It's so beautiful. I have some beautiful palm trees, some beautiful rose trees up there, and so gorgeous. So did everyone have a great Memorial Day weekend? I hope so. No matter where you are, even if you're across the pond, I know you don't have the same holidays as us. Pamela White, how are you? You don't have the same holidays as us, but Kathy Parker, your background is beautiful. I'm also in Florida. Florida is just amazing. The weather's been a little crazy. You know, you get this Florida weather. 1 minute it's beautiful, next minute there's a storm, you know. Deborah Lyons, I love your channel, very educational and transparent. Thank you so much. You know, I'm trying to, especially with this Bryan Kohberger case, the Idaho quadruple. I hate to just call it that. The case against the Idaho student cases of Ethan Chapin, Zaina Knodel, Madison Mogan, and Kaylee Gonsalves. We never want to forget them, and that's who that this case is about, and we never want to forget them because they're in our heart, our soul, and everything about this case. Richella Pranzo, good to see you. Great to see you, in fact. Lieutenant Pete and Richella, they're two of our biggest, bestest, can you say bestest fans, bestest subscribers, bestest supporters of Police Off the Cuff Real Crime Stories. So yeah, I'm here one more day. I leave tomorrow, fly out tomorrow night. Linda Daughtry is shouting out to all the fallen soldiers, 100%. And even though it's a different type of service, I'd like to also shout out to all of the Scout Inquirer. Good to see you, buddy. Wow, there's some loud birds here today. Maybe I'm invading his space, you know. All the 9/11 people, the folks that, the police, the cops, the firemen, the court officers, all the law enforcement responders, some who lost their lives on that day. And even though Memorial Day is not specifically for them, it's for the armed forces, I'd like to just mention them too. Robbie, how are you, buddy? Mystique, hello everyone. 52 in the chat, 55 in the chat, 24 with the thumbs up. This bird, I think this bird thinks I'm invading his space, and he doesn't like it, so he's being really loud. You hear him? I know I told you guys, but a couple of weeks ago, I was walking. I parked my car and I was walking to the gym, and out of here, listen to that bird. He's pissed. Out of a tree came this bird that was pretty upset, and he flew into my back. He wanted me to know that, Lula Morocco, good to see you, buddy. Yeah, that bird's cool till they fly into you and they show you that you're in their territory and they don't like it, you know. Get out of my territory, human, you know. Nesting season, Michael Allen. Yeah, they get pissed and they show it sometimes. They'll fly right into you. I never saw a bird like that in New York that was that aggressive, but although I have. You go to Jones Beach or any of the beaches and you see them, the seagulls get very, very aggressive and they get too close to you. I don't like that. You know, seagulls are scary birds. I told you I had one very, very aggressive seagull years ago in Martha's Vineyard. I think they train them there to take free shit. and this seagull swooped down on a grill. Dawn Marie, good to see you, Dawn Marie. Swooped down on a grill that was hot, and stole a hot dog right off the grill. Michelle, yeah, I'm interrupting the bird's privacy. Maybe I should go. I don't know. I don't want to go too far away from the house because I don't know if I'll lose the Wi-Fi signal. But I could go up on the hill here. Is just beautiful. I'll try it one day, but I don't want to be that experimental today in my first coffee with Cannon in the backyard here. Ryan Brown, good to see you, buddy. Dawn Marie, look at all those smiles. Deborah Lyons said she had a blue jay do that. Yeah, they get very aggressive, and I told this story before, so I hope I'm not boring anybody. I asked one of the trainers in my gym, I go, what the hell's the story with that? He goes, no, he goes, these birds, they're nesting, like you said, and they'll fly right into you. They want to give you a signal to get the hell away, get away from their nest. And I was like, wow, that's crazy. In New York, you got the aggressive seagulls and the aggressive pigeons. Bill Cannon, always bringing the sun on a cloudy day. Thank you, Dawn Marie. Thank you so much for that comment. Zoe 143, you're so funny, Bill. I'm not trying to be funny. I'm just trying to tell you the story of what happens to me sometimes, What happens during your life when you go about your day. So did anyone watch the show Sunday night? It's still doing very well. I didn't think it would take off like that, but a show I did Sunday night, I guess maybe because a lot of content creators didn't go on the air Sunday night. Hummingbirds had one buzz. Hummingbird, come fly away, fly away. Remember that Seals and Crofts song? Come fly away, come fly away. Look at all these great people in the chat. Lieutenant Peter, Harlem Raiders. Best to see you, Lieutenant Pete. So did everyone, now there's so many people in the chat, did everyone have a really good Memorial Day weekend? I hope so. I hope you guys had a fantastic Memorial Day weekend. It's sort of the, Lula Morocco saw the replay of Sunday night's show. I thought it was pretty good. There's so many people in regards to the case, the Idaho case, that there's someone coming back here. I hope he's not cutting the grass. I'll be in trouble. They believe that Bryan Kohberger is not guilty. I just don't get it. I don't get it. And they're like saying, and the people also that say, oh, he's got accomplices, he wasn't alone, but they have no evidence of it. But they spew out these theories that you're just like, where are you getting this from? Where are you getting this from? In fact, I quoted a prosecutor. Pamela White, thank you for the $2 super sticker. I always enjoy your live chat. Thank you, Pamela. Very much appreciated. A prosecutor from California, his name is Matt Murphy, and he was a homicide prosecutor from Orange County, California. And he's really articulate, he's very smart, and again, he's prosecuted homicides, not civil cases, not, you get all of these pseudo experts that aren't experts that are telling you what time it is, and this guy knows what time it is. Matt Murphy, former prosecutor from Orange County, California. He said that, he made a quote that the evidence against Bryan Kohberger is overwhelming. Overwhelming is the term he used. And you can't believe how many attackers I had on YouTube for saying that. Yes, overwhelming, Lula Morocco. He said it was overwhelming. So all these know-it-nothings were on YouTube saying, oh, that's ridiculous. Who said that? You cops all stick, and they started attacking the police service. They started attacking my profession. I said, first of all, I'm not the one who said that. I'm quoting a prosecutor who said the evidence is overwhelming. So unless you have credentials as good or better than his, you shouldn't be disparaging this guy because he's got credentials. He's not a YouTube content creator. He's a former prosecutor. He has that law degree. He went through 4 years of college, and then he went to 3 years of law school and passed the bar, and then became a prosecutor for 17 years. So unless you have credentials as good or better than that, I don't think you should disparage this guy, you know. Star Dancer, good afternoon. Always enjoy your podcast. Great guests, and always learn from. Thank you so much. That's the sort of the dormant professor in me, you know. To tell you the truth, guys, I keep getting offered. I mean, not tons. There's not people knocking on my door, but I get offered teaching jobs all the time. And I recently got offered another one, and I'm just like, I just don't want to have to be somewhere. Getting better day by day. People hide behind their computers and argue. It's awful. Yeah, it's like, I don't know. I don't know what this guy's doing behind me. I can't get away from the noise, you know. If it gets crazy, I'll go inside. But right now, looks like he's just picking up some tree branches or something, you know. Teach online, drag. I thought of that, you know. I thought of teaching online. I like the personal experience of teaching live, and I love being around young people, and I love teaching, you know. Investigation is one of the things I love teaching the most. You know, the guy Matt Murphy, the prosecutor from California, who said the evidence is Dr. Debbie Goodman. Yeah, absolutely. Dr. Debbie Goodman is beautiful. She's a great person, great criminologist. Charisma, thank you for the 220 super sticker. Thank you so much. Dr. Debbie Goodman, she invited me to St. Thomas University in Miami to teach for a guest appearance. It was so much fun. I really enjoyed the students. I really enjoyed the experience. Rick Borgia, good to see you, buddy. Judy B, how are you, Judy B? I love those clapping hands. It's so nice. 114 in the chat, 52 with the thumbs up. Guys, can we get some more thumbs up? More chatters than thumbs up. Suze Bluski, love to you. Mike Melanie, love your show, Bill, from the UK. Thank you so much. I just, you know, I'm going to probably do another show tonight at about 6:37 because I know Duty Ron's probably going to go on at 8 or 9, and I have to dodge him. I can't go on the same time as him, or else I'll get squashed, you know. Sherry Brunn, how are you? The Papa Smurf, the OG. Put your DNA to that like button. That's the way to put it, Nikki Bella. Absolutely. If you're not subscribed, go on our YouTube, hit that subscribe button, give us a thumbs up, ring that bell, make comments. I love to read your comments. I love to respond to them. No, Charisma, I'm still in Florida. I'm flying back to New York tomorrow night. And hopefully to nice weather. The weather here was a little spotty at times. When it's beautiful, but we had some really rainy days, you know, a couple of rainy days. And, you know, I was reminded of what it's like to get beat up in the ocean. I went in the ocean one day, and I haven't gotten this beat up since I was a little kid. And I got pounded against the sand a couple of times. And it's not the same as when you're a kid. You know, you laugh it off, and you're like, that when you're an adult, you got arthritis here, arthritis there. I get 2 new hips, and I'm trying to get up, and I'm getting knocked down again. It's not as funny. You used to laugh when it used to happen when you were a kid. I remember all the times I got beat up by the surf at Jones Beach. But it's not as funny now as it was when I was a teen on Long Island at Jones Beach, you know. It's not as funny, but it's still fun. Papa Smurf. Well, you know, the ducks are back here, but they're not here today. I don't know. Maybe they don't want to be on the show today. Yeah, there's a family of ducks back here. Yeah. TJ, hello. Yeah, so I got some good plans for the summer. We're probably going to come back here a bunch of times in the summer. And Scott, how are you, buddy? I'm going to go to Denver to visit my son in August and go to a concert at that Red Rocks place. I'm sure a lot of you guys have been there. Lula Morocco, you're a big music lover. You've probably been there. It's supposed to be one of the greatest places. It's like an open amphitheater, and they call it Red Rocks. And we're going to visit my son who lives in Denver, and I've never been to Denver, Colorado in my life. It's supposed to be unbelievably beautiful, so I'm looking forward to that in August. A lot of things to look forward to. Ryan Brown, yes, I'm in Florida, although I am coming back Wednesday night. coming back to New York. My bags are packed, I'm ready to go. I'm standing here outside your door. Already I'm so lonesome I could cry. Well, the dawn is breaking, it's early morn. The taxi's waiting, he's blowing his horn. Already I'm so lonesome I could cry. So kiss me and smile for me. Tell me that you'll wait for me. Hold me like you'll never let me go. 'Cause I'm leaving on a jet plane. Remember that tune? John Denver. Oh my God. That was a long time ago, huh? But I'm not leaving anybody. I'm just going back home. Going back home to New York. ATS News, love that song. Lula Morocco's been to Red Rocks. Beautiful Bill, the Beatles were there. Red Rocks. Wow, I didn't know that. I know that I've seen it, pictures of it. My son's gone to concerts and he tells me it's spectacular, just spectacular place to see a concert. Pickle Toes Grandma, thank you. 124 in the chat, 80 with the thumbs up. You will be astounded by the amount of homeless. You know something? My son told me that, Michael Allen. He told me that was a little bit astounding. I don't know. I don't know what our politicians are thinking in all these cities, and it goes for New York too, allowing people to live on the streets. I think it's against the civil rights of people that go to work every day, people that pay their taxes, people that enable the cities to operate. And then these politicians have the nerve to act like it's a civil right to live on the street. It's not. It's total. And look at New York. Just this woman recently was pushed into the train and she may be paralyzed. It's just like you have these EVPs walking around in the subway and living in the subway, living on the street. It's politicians really, they got to be called out. And you see now the MTA with the New York, sorry if you don't live in New York, guys, but the Metropolitan Transportation Authority, just a mismanaged organization of buffoons, overpaid buffoons too. The head guy makes like $450,000 a year. Why is he getting that much money? I just don't know. So the head of the MTA makes more than the governor. Yeah, that's fair, right? It's just ridiculous. Don't let me get on my soapbox. How did we start? Oh, someone said there's a homeless people all over Denver, all over the streets. It goes for a lot of cities, it's crazy. Brian Brown, I like the Peter, Paul, and Mary version of Leaving on a Jet Plane. Yeah, sometimes different artists take a song and they make it theirs, and it's pretty cool, right? So this could be my next spot that I try to do these shows. I may actually one day try to go up onto the hill here, up on the veranda, and see how it sounds up there. I just don't want to risk losing the signal. So guys, let's get back to the the Bryan Kohberger situation, and where this attorney from homicide prosecutor from California, by the name of Matt Ryan, he was interviewed, and he said that he thinks there is Bill Thompson reelected, or elected, absolutely. He thinks there's in his words, overwhelming evidence against Bryan Kohberger. But the biggest thing that we have to talk about and we have to be worried about is that because it's a death penalty case, it's going to be so much more difficult. Everything is going to take more time. Everything is going to have more attorneys. Everything is going to be put on hold. San Diego's getting so bad as well. I'm terrified. My son was at Berkeley, talk about dangerous with homeless. Wow, that's too bad, guys. It's too bad. I think the people that really work and pay the taxes, they got to voice their disapproval of all this homelessness, as if it's okay for people to pitch tents on the streets. It's just, it's pathetic. It really is pathetic. And when you talk to some of these people, they think that it's someone's right to do that. It's just beyond me, So the other thing we spoke about on my show the other night, Sunday night, was that everyone knows that 1122 King Road, and that's the house that the quadruple murders occurred in, was donated by the home's owner to the University of Idaho. And their intentions are to knock this house down. And they want to do it this summer. But I think it's a huge, huge mistake to knock this house down before the trial takes place. The reason being is that I think the jury during the trial should have the ability to walk through the crime scene and to see what it looks like. And I've heard other content creators on YouTube say, oh, that's not necessary anymore with the technology we have to Dude, if you're saying that, you never walked through a murder crime scene in your life. And if you're saying that, you don't know what you're talking about, all right? There is no substitute for walking through a homicide crime scene. And you can ask any investigator on this earth if that's not a fact, if that's not the truth. There's a feel, there's a touch, there's a smell. And even if it's been totally cleaned up, there is an aura of every crime scene. So for you to say, and I'm not pointing out who said it, but I heard someone say that, a very popular YouTube content creator, you don't know what you're talking about if that's what you said, because there's no substitute, and I will say it over and over and over again, of walking through that crime scene, of looking, hearing the sounds, feeling what must have occurred, recreating the steps that the killer took, recreating what the victims must have felt by being in the same location, not from pictures. There's no way a picture can recreate that feeling. Kim Allison, thank you so much. Thank you, really, Kim, appreciate everything you do. You're tremendous 24/7 promoter of police off the cuff real crime stories. You, Dawn Marie, the Pranzos, just appreciate you guys tremendously. Overwhelming evidence knowing you keep house up. I think, Lou, I think the house should stay up till after the trial's over. And the argument from the other side was that, oh, the community has suffered so much. They need to knock that house down so the community can heal. I disagree. The community will get over it. The case, the trial, the feel that the jury will get from going in there, I think it's worth keeping it up. And I think it becomes, unfortunately, it becomes about dollars and cents, and that the University of Idaho has taken a huge hit financially, and so has the town of Moscow, Idaho, in regards to this case, has caused many people to not want to go there, caused many students to drop out of that school, caused many students to study remotely instead of going to the campus. Yes, Lou, it could, but I think it will help more, because if this helps, if the jury go into that scene, helps them vote guilty on this case, then I think it's worth keeping that house up. And time will go by quickly. Angelic Darkness, welcome to the bucket. Welcome to the YouTube family. Thank you so much for joining us. The YouTube channel memberships, thank you guys for supporting Police Off the Cuff Real Crime Stories. In this case, Backyard Beverage, Coffee, Cuffs, and Cannon. Bitchin' with Bill, I like that one too. And BB, tearing the house down, you guys are going by quickly. Just being in that house would be so impactful. Zoe 143, I agree. Look, whenever I would investigate a homicide or lead the investigation of a homicide, I always made it my business to walk through the crime scene, because you don't get the feeling anywhere else but in that crime scene. And even if you look at photos, which I started taking digital photos before the cameras were even on your phone. I would always carry a digital camera with me, and that would help me, but it was no substitute for actually walking through that crime scene. And look, I feel like I'm beating a dead horse with this, but my feelings are that crime scene, that house has to stay up until after this case is through. Now, one of the big problems, we all know the next date for them to appear in court is October 2nd. Is there anyone now that is going to predict that this case goes in 2023? Now, I think there's no way that this case is going to go in 2023. I think it's almost a foregone conclusion that it's not going to go till 2024. So January, February, March, it could be a while, because I think whoever the judge is going to give so much leeway for the defense and the prosecution, mostly the defense, to work this case, to build, to create doubt. So far, we've heard of all these issues, that there may be some corruption inside the Moscow Police Department, which they would love to bring up. You have a lot of the haters on YouTube that hate the police, and you can hear them say, "Oh, the cops lie. The cops lie. They're always lying." Cops lie a lot less than a lot of. Look, I admit cops do lie, but they lie a lot less than a lot of other professions. And not that makes it right. But think of lawyers. Think of politicians. Think of all these other professions, but people point at cops as if that's an aberration, that, oh, they lie, they don't tell the truth. Okay. Have you watched any of the congressional hearings? You see some of the clowns that work for us? Unbelievable, right? 175 in the chat, 110 with their thumbs up, guys. Police Off the Cuff, Real Crime Stories, thank you so much for stopping by on this Tuesday afternoon. It's great to have you here. It's great to be talking to you guys from Florida. And I hope everyone had a wonderful, wonderful Memorial Day weekend. Whatever you chose to do with your family or friends, I hope you thought of those that gave up the ultimate sacrifice for this country to keep you free, to keep, that expression, it's a cliche sort of, but I think it says so much, that freedom is not free. That's 100% true. And I always get a little bit, people always say, don't get political. You can't help getting political with some things, like, it seems like we, the United States of America, defend the whole world. We defend the world against atrocities, against governments. Like, look what we're doing now in Ukraine. The American taxpayer is funding that. Is that, I don't want to get into that war being political and everything, but is that our responsibility to pay for that war? Why doesn't Europe pay for it? They're more threatened by that Ukraine-Russia war right now. I can't see who gave me that $20 super sticker, but thank you so much. Is that you, Lou LaMorocco? It's hard to see it on the screen, but thank you so much. Very much appreciated it, guys. Keeping this Police Off the Cuff Real Crime Stories going. Keeping, I don't like always to talk about numbers, but I should hit 49,000 subscribers today, which for me, I'm excited about it. And then, of course, the next goal is 50,000. And I told you, my goal, it still remains, my goal for 2023 is to hit 100,000. That means I have to double my subscribers. It could be done. It could be done. And with your help, I thank all you guys that have got me to this point. 49,000. But then we'll hit 50, and then we're gonna double it up. We're gonna get crazy. 175 in the chat, 118 with the thumbs up. So guys, we spoke about them wanting to knock the house down. We spoke about the grand jury action against Bryan Kohberger, that we all expected. All the news organizations were all getting ready to camp out by the to camp out in Moscow, Idaho, the Latah County Courthouse, in preparation for the June 26th hearings. But guess what? There are not going to be any June 26th hearings anymore, because we all know there was a grand jury indictment, and that superseded, that knocked out any reason to have those probable cause hearings. The grand jury returned with a true bill, And now there's no reason, and a lot of folks that don't follow the criminal justice system were acting as if that was corruption that occurred. That, why did the prosecution go to grand jury? It's not fair to the defense. Yes, it is fair. This is the game. This is how the criminal justice system works. A grand jury system is secretive. They don't have to tell you what they indicted for. Well, they did tell you what they indicted for because he was arraigned. He was arraigned on that Monday. However, the grand jury minutes, that is what the defense is dying to get their hands on now. The grand jury minutes, so they can determine what other evidence there is in regards to this case against Bryan Kohberger that they don't know about. The other thing that, and I've been covering this since the beginning, and I'm sure you could, if you went through with a fine-tooth comb those 500 pages of search warrant material, you could come up with things maybe that people didn't realize. But there was, in my mind, there was never any out and out proof that he had ordered that K-bar knife off of Amazon when he was in Pennsylvania. All of a sudden that comes out and everyone's saying, that was old news. It wasn't old news to me, And I think that is tremendous, tremendous evidence. And people disagree. How could you disagree with that? Oh, he ordered a K-bar knife. I think that the pathologist, the autopsy report is going to show that a blade like a K-bar blade, maybe they could say even, compare a K-bar knife to the wounds on the bodies and definitively say, yeah, this is the kind of knife that caused these wounds. Because I would think that Bryan Kohberger, and if he in fact is guilty, I believe he got rid of that knife. I believe he dumped that knife on his route home that night to his home in Washington State. And I believe he dumped it. And why is that so hard to fathom that he dumped that knife somewhere? But could they determine from the wounds that a knife like that caused those type of wounds? Absolutely. 181 in the chat, 123 with the thumbs up. Guys, this is Police Off the Cuff, Real Crime Stories. Coffee with Cannon, Backyard Beverage, Bitchin' with Bill. Coffee, Cuffs, and Cannon coming to you from Jupiter, Florida. Love to come from different locations. It's like spanning the globe, giving you the constant variety of crime. The thrill of victory, the agony of defeat. Police Off the Cuff, Real Crime Stories. That was the old logo for ABC, Wide World of Sports. Do you guys remember that? They're saying, bringing you the constant variety of sports, the thrill of victory, the agony of defeat. And then they would show different victories and some bad accidents, defeat in sports, But so guys, again, if you're just coming on here, it's your first time on this Coffee with Cannon, and you're not subscribed, go to our YouTube, hit that subscribe button, give us a thumbs up, ring that bell, hit that like button. But it's so good to see you guys. I always like to do these Coffee with Cannon shows because they're a lot looser, and I don't have to get as prepared. I can just talk to you guys almost like you're my friends, and one-on-one, except there's one-on-hundreds, and it's a hell of a lot of fun to do. And even the birds have calmed down here in my backyard here, and so it's a pleasure. Maybe the birds realize I'm not going after their nests right now, so they're chilling out. So where do we go next with this case? A lot of, we spoke about that when he was indicted by the grand jury, he stood silent. And a lot of people made a lot out of that. And then the judge entered that not guilty plea for him after he stood silent and didn't plead not guilty or guilty. Some people made a big deal about that. I think that, to me, I felt there was a little bit of arrogance in that. Like, dude, you couldn't stand up and say not guilty. You had to have your lawyer say he chooses to stand silent. A lot of people compared this case by, they always referred to the OJ case as the trial of the century, and anyone who's old enough to have watched the OJ trial knows what OJ Simpson said when he was asked to make a plea, and he said 100% not guilty. Now, I don't know if anyone believed him, and we compared that case, I think, and I have my own opinions about that case, but it does get very political. Some people are, he was found innocent. I think that was a really good case of what they call jury nullification. And in essence, you could have shown the jury video of him killing Nicole Brown Simpson and Ron Goldman, and they would have still voted not guilty. That's how jacked up it was and how ridiculous the jury was. I think, there's nothing like a California jury to let a killer off, but in my mind, he was 100% guilty, not 100% not guilty, as he said. And but again, there's that case became so politicized, and the whole thing about jury nullification, that they just, no matter what the evidence was going to be, they were going to find O.J. Simpson not guilty, and that's in fact what they did. But in this case, folks, we know that they have to, the prosecution, with two very highly experienced attorneys from the Idaho State Attorney General's office, their assistant state attorney generals, they're going to help with the prosecution of this. And the other part of that, because it is a death penalty case, it's going to take much longer. Because, as I stated the other night, Sunday night on my show, when they choose jurors, there's something called a voir dire, and each side can disqualify X amount of people from being on the jury. But you get a number of disqualifications, and then that's it. You can't disqualify just everyone you don't like, and there's a reason for it. But in this case, these cases, because it is a death penalty case, and if the district attorney's office is going to go for the death penalty, they can only seat people on the jury that will vote for the death penalty. If you're anti-death penalty, my understanding is they will not seat you on this jury. So there's another reason that the prosecution, if they go for the death penalty, the stakes are even higher and higher, because, well, one of the things is when you do choose people that are pro-death penalty, usually they're also pro-law enforcement. And so in that way, you're picking a juror who's of a certain state of mind. So, but again, that makes it, the defense, the judge on the case has to bend over backwards, because any little thing can give reason for an appeal by the defense. So if anything isn't done procedurally correct, if anything is done inefficiently, or there's a little gray area there, that could open the door for an appeal. And that is the last thing that anyone wants in this case. This case, again, think of the families of these kids, how their lives have been basically just shut down, because until this case is tried, until they can put this behind them, how do you really go on with your life? You can see it in the face of Steve Gonsalves, Kaylee Gonsalves' dad, who seems to be the most vocal of all the parents. speaks out the most, is the most on media. And even imagine there was no gag order. That's the other thing. Will they ever lift this gag order? Will they lift this gag? Will there be cameras in the courtroom? There's another issue. We all know in the OJ case there was cameras in the courtroom. A lot of people think the cameras in the courtroom, they make the case a bit like theater, and maybe people don't act the same when there's cameras as when there isn't cameras. So there's one of the reasons they may not want to have cameras. People, they start performing, and that goes for the judge, for the jury. Well, the jury isn't allowed to be on camera, but the judge, the prosecutors, the defense attorneys, the witnesses, they start playing to the cameras instead of realizing that this is what it is. It's a trial for someone's life. It's a quadruple murder trial. So I don't know how they're going to rule in regards to cameras in the courtroom. That's another decision that'll have to be made. 186 in the chat, 146 with the thumbs up. This is Police Off the Cuff, Real Crime Stories, Backyard Beverage, Bitchin' with Bill, Coffee with Cannon, Coffee Cuffs and Cannon. Thank you guys for tuning in this afternoon. It's actually a beautiful day today. A nice little breeze back here. This is my new go-to place to do an outside show, you know. Yeah. As long as the birds behave and the landscapers don't come back here with their blowers, I think I'll be in pretty good shape, you know. So a lot of things to think about, you know. I think one of the things that amazes me about, not just about this case, about YouTube itself, is that so many people, content creators, they just put stuff up there or put stuff out there that may just not even be true. And it's sensationalizing the case. And if any case doesn't need to be sensationalized, it's this one. This one is already sensational without someone saying, oh, this happened. Someone was online, was playing with the audio from the neighbor's camera and pretending that it said something, it showed that there was an accomplice to Bryan Kohberger. That's horrible, you know, because it's throwing out that misinformation to the public. And as we know, it's going to be difficult enough in this case to find jurors that are impartial in this case, because everyone has heard about this case. Everyone has been following this case. This has been followed not just nationally, but internationally. You know, Great Britain, Australia, all across the pond, this case is being followed. And it's amazing how many even text messages I get from people in Australia and saying, oh, I'm learning so much about your criminal justice system through you, and I thank you for that. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. But the American system is unlike most others. You know, I won't say any others, because it was actually based on the British system, right? It came here with the colonists, right? So it was actually based upon that system. And even before that, the British system was based, guess on what system, guys? The Romans, right? And maybe people would argue even the Greeks, you know, that it was brought down and passed upon them, but absolutely the Romans. So our system goes back perhaps thousands of years, if not hundreds of years, to the British system. We know that. But hopefully we took what was best from all these systems and we kept it. Lieutenant Pete is in the chat. Good to see you, Lieutenant Pete. I know you had a wonderful weekend, Lieutenant Pete, out on Eastern Long Island, enjoying the weather, just beautiful out there. So good to see everyone here today. Police Off the Cuff, Real Crime Stories, Backyard Beverage, Bitchin' with Bill, Coffee with Cannon. All my friends, my subscribers. A long weekend though, right? A Memorial Day weekend, you got Saturday, Sunday, and then a lot of people take off Friday, so you got Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. There's 4 days, and then you got to go back to work, and you're like, work? What's that? My wife flew back early. She got up at 4:30 this morning today, and got on a plane and flew to LaGuardia and went right from LaGuardia to her office, right to work. So thank you, Joanna, for bringing home the bacon. Bringing home that bacon and putting it in the pan, that's for sure, you know. She diligently took that plane to New York and to LaGuardia and took the cab right to her office on the Upper West Side, and she's at work now. So, and here I am. I'm at work too. Police off the cuff, real crime stories. Backyard beverage, bitching with Bill, coffee with Cannon, talking to all my friends, my fans, my subscribers. So great to have you folks here. So guys, I may go on tonight at 6:30, 6:45. I gotta do a little more research on the topic, but I wanted to definitely get on the air today to talk to you guys and just about your weekend and about, you know, I'm sure everyone had a wonderful weekend. Just enjoying with your friends, your family, and your loved ones, and celebrating Memorial Day, our armed forces, and remembering those who gave the ultimate sacrifice, the supreme sacrifice it's known as. And we salute those people. We honor those people on Memorial Day weekend. There are those that don't, and those to me are just, you know, I don't need to moralize about them, but I don't understand. Many people don't attribute their freedom to that old expression, freedom isn't free. There has to be peacekeepers, and there has to be people that patrol the sands of this world, that patrol the streets of this world, that make sure that freedom can stand free through power and through weaponry, actually, you know. And many people that they deny that that's a necessity, but it absolutely is. And I, again, praise our armed forces. Again, the holiday's over, but that's what the holiday's about, Memorial Day weekend. And it also signifies the beginning of the summer and the beginning, maybe the first barbecue of the year, and a good weekend to be with friends, family, loved ones, and we just finished it. So we're back. People are back to work on this Monday, and today is the 30th of May. Tomorrow will be the 31st, and then we start June. Whoa! June is busting out all over, as they say, right, guys? Guys, I'm coming up on 48 minutes, and I'm going to start making my exit plan here, saying goodbye to you guys. And again, thank you so much for tuning in today. It was a hell of a lot of fun just for me to sit here and talk to you guys, and to exchange ideas, and to be the supreme commander of Coffee with Cannon. Guys, have a great day, a safe day. God bless, and I'll see you soon.